Hi, my name is Muhammad Naiman. I'm a, I'm a civil engineering student. I'm in GK3A and I'm studying here at Polytechnic Sultan Idris Shah. So tonight I'll be doing a review or a comparison for my MOOCC between these two middle range phones, the Vivo V5 here and the Huawei P10 Lite. Alright, so saying these both phones are middle range, meaning like they're both half the price of the flagships phones or the high-end phones right now. So the Vivo V5 is 154 millimeters long, it's 7.6 millimeters thin, and it weighs only 154 grams, while the P10 Lite is 146 millimeters long, 7.2 millimeters thin, and it's only 146 grams light. So being said, technically the P10 Lite is smaller and more thin, but you won't feel much difference besides the weight. So in terms of display, the Vivo V5 gives you 5.5-inch 720p HD display, while the P10 Lite gives you 5.2 inches 1080p full HD display. So the P10 Lite wins in the resolution game, giving you full HD clear and crisp display. Both runs Android, the V5 running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, while the P10 Lite runs 7.0 Nougat, and both runs with their own processor, the FunTouch 2.6 for the Vivo V5 and the MWI 5.1 for the P10 Lite. Under the hood, the V5 runs a MediaTek MT6750 processor chip, and the P10 Lite runs a HiSilicon Kirin 658 chip. Both gives you octa-core processor, the V5 giving you 1.5 GHz for all of its 8 cores, while the P10 Lite gives you 2.36 GHz for its first 4 cores, and 1.7 GHz for its last 4 cores. Being said, the P10 Lite technically is faster and more reliable than the V5. But after using both phones for a few weeks, for some time actually, that's really not much difference. The P10 Lite is faster, but the V5 isn't far behind in terms of performance. Both supports are up to 256 gigs of external storage, and both gives you 32 gigs of RAM. 32 gigs of internal storage and 4 gigs of RAM. Alright, so the 4 gigs of RAM gives you endless multitasking. It won't lag very much, even if you're playing a very heavy game like Asphalt 8 or Injustice. And if you're like me, a student, I would normally do my work or my studies using my phone and my laptop, of course. So multitasking is a very normal thing for me. So using this P10 Lite, it gives a very smooth and reliable experience. The V5 also gives you a very smooth and reliable experience, even though its processor is a bit behind, just a bit behind, not that much. Alright, so moving on to the camera. Alright, at the back, or the primary camera, the V5 gives you 13 megapixel autofocus, while the P10 Lite gives you 12 megapixel 2.2 aperture autofocus. Both cameras give you those normal. Alright, so in terms of shape, both are rectangular with curves around the edges. The V5 gives you a very nice curve at the back, so you'll feel a very smooth and very comfortable grip. While the P10 is very flat at the back, but it gives you the curves at the screen, at the edges of the screen. In my experience, in my using these two phones, I feel like the P10 Lite gives a better grip, but the only problem with me is the back of the phone is very what would they say, since it's glass at the back, so it catches the fingerprint very easily, if you can see there. So like it or not, it's very unpleasant for me, but what to do. It's very nice at the back, but it's really easy to get fingerprints on it. Alright, so both phones gives you those normal features any phone would give you, which is geotagging, touch focus, face detection, panorama, HDR. And both phones can record full HD video at 30 frames per second. This is the interesting part. What you would see in a normal smartphone or a normal middle-range smartphone, they would normally put the better or the bigger camera at the back, which is the primary camera. But V5, the Vivo changed this tradition by giving the front camera, the secondary camera, a 20 megapixel 2.0 aperture 1080p front camera. While so it's a big change, but it's what Vivo promised, since the V5 being advertised as a selfie camera. So the 20 megapixel is a game changer, since it's a big camera, it's a big megapixel camera, so your selfies will be very clear and very sharp. But what most phones would do is they put a normal standardized 8 megapixel or 13 megapixel at the front, but the V5 changed the tradition and makes your selfie clear. So for people who likes to do selfies, who likes taking selfies, maybe most girls, the V5 is a really good camera for you to use. The P10 Lite, however, uses the standardized 8 megapixel autofocus 2.0 aperture camera, and even though it's lesser than the V5, both can shoot 1080p full HD from the back and the front. Alright, so both gives you fingerprint sensor for that more secure security. The V5 giving you the sensor at the front, while the P10 Lite giving you at the back here. Both gives you 3000 milliamp hour battery, which would last your phone for a very long time. The difference is the P10 Lite gives you fast charging. It supports fast charging. Using the fast charging cable they provided, I was able to charge the battery full for only around an hour or maybe less. Besides that, both batteries with their own stamina mode or battery management mode gives you a very long time, even though you're playing games or listening music or just doing regular work. It will give around like 6 hours to 8 hours of battery life. So the V5 only comes in two colors, which is gold and gray, while the P10 Lite gives you pearl white, graphite black, platinum gold, and its limited edition sapphire blue here. So ending this video, in my opinion, both are really good phones for its price range, because they're giving you high-end flagship specs at half the price. I'm not saying that these phones can compare or are better than the flagship phones right now, like the S8 or the XZ Premium, but they are really not very far behind in terms of performance, camera, and battery life. So in my opinion, both phones are really a bargain, and they are not what I expected from a middle-range phone. I expected a less performance, like less camera resolution, but both companies, they leap forward and they change the game, and they are now the game changer. They are now leading in terms of middle-range phones. So most people, or maybe me, most tech geeks, won't really buy the S8 or this XZ Premium, the Sony XZ Premium, if Huawei or V5 keeps this up. So thank you for watching, and I hope all this information would help you in choosing your smartphone, your new smartphone in for Raya. And bye bye.